Hello and welcome to the real streets of crime. Today we will be looking at the younger Johnson crew members from Birmingham who fired shots at a police helicopter. Beniha Lang, 29, and Wesley Gray, 27, fired at the West Midlands police helicopter. They lured cops to the scene by firebombing a pub. The violence erupted in Birmingham, where officers were forced to run for safety as windows behind them were shattered by bullets. Janine Francis, 25, and Nadine Banbury, 25, were also part of the Johnson crew, these gang-banging girls who go by the name JCB. The Johnson crew Bs they were found guilty of possession of a weapon and ammunition and given jail terms. They used violence that began in London after the police shooting of Mark Duggan, a Tottenham bad boy, and then flared around the country as an excuse to target police officers in a deliberate attempt to destroy the aircraft. The violence was so bad in Birmingham the police officers were forced to run for their lives as bullets being fired from 4 different guns lit up the Birmingham ghetto streets. I can tell you how the men planned and orchestrated an attack on police at the height of the disorder in the city when they knew that police resources were stretched. Police had been dispatched to deal with reports of a fire at the Barton's Arms pub in the Newtown area of the city on August 9 last year. When the officers arrived on the scene they were faced with a group of masked and hooded youths armed with bats and various items of furniture taken from the pub which they used to barricade the high street. Members of the gang discharged at least 12 shots at officers, and shocking CCTV footage then shows others taking aim and firing a gun at the force helicopter on 2 occasions. Birmingham Crown Court heard how the men planned and orchestrated an attack on police at the height of the disorder in the city when they knew that police resources were stretched. It was finally brought to an end when firearms officers attended the scene and a number of arrests were made. In June this year 6 men aged between 20 and 27 were jailed for a total of 124 years after they were convicted of riot, arson and firearms possession with intent to endanger life. And today Lang and Gray were found guilty of similar riot and firearms offenses following a 3-week trial and were jailed for 35 and 29 years respectively. Following the case, Detective Inspector Andy Bannister from West Midlands Police said, "On the night of 9 August, approximately 40 people were on the streets near the Barton's Arms pub. They had planned an orchestrated attack on police officers who were deployed on the night. A number of individuals are already serving lengthy sentences following a trial earlier this year regarding this investigation, and today we have secured further convictions against other people involved." Despite the culmination of this trial, the work does not stop here. Jailed. Janine Francis, 25, and Nadine Banbury, 25, were found guilty of possession of a weapon and ammunition. Francis was jailed for 7.5 years, while Banbury was sentenced to 5 years in prison. These 2 bad girls were carrying and hiding these gangsters' guns since they became members of the crew, even targeting males from other crews, a chick trap they would call it, a setup. We are continuing to look at using different methods of intervention to address the behavior of other individuals who were part of that group on that August night. The court heard on 7 October 2011, a Figarmi 9mm pistol and ammunition was found at the address of Lang's friend Janine Francis, 25, following a planned police operation. The firearm was examined revealing that it was one of the weapons used on the evening of the attack, and also Gray's DNA was found on the gun. The second firearm was seized on 19 October when Lang was handed a bag by Nadine Banbury, 25, which contained a Saint Etienne revolver and ammunition, which was also identified as one of the other weapons used that August night. Bernardo Farrell, 20, was sentenced to 18 years while Amril Rehman, 17, was given 12 years. If you think you can shoot at the police, think again. You will receive a big sentence. Most of these youths ain't even bad. The gang lured officers into the area by firebombing a pub and even shot at a police helicopter. Neil Fielding, special casework lawyer from the West Midlands Crown Prosecution Service (CPS) Complex Casework Unit, said, "These individuals are dangerous men supported in their criminality by the two women convicted today, who used last year's disorder as an opportunity to put the public and the emergency services at risk. They deliberately targeted unarmed police officers, putting their lives in grave danger in a calculated and cowardly manner." The conclusion of this case demonstrates that the partners working together within the criminal justice system will do everything in their power to bring dangerous offenders such as these to justice. Jailed. Nicholas Francis, 26, left, was jailed for 30 years, while co-defendant Tyrone Laidley, 20, right, received 20 years guilty. Jermaine Lewis, 27, was jailed for 23 years for shooting at police officers during last summer's riots in Birmingham, while Wayne Collins, 20, received an 18-year sentence. Renardo Farrell, 20, was sentenced to 18 years while Amril Rehman, 17, was given 12 years. The gang lured officers into the area by firebombing a pub and even shot at a police helicopter. Beniha Lang, 29, also known as Nuggs, was given a 35-year sentence. The police say Nuggs was the most dangerous male in Birmingham at that time. He spent time in Onley prison as a juvenile. He was so big the screws moved him to the adult section of the prison, as the juveniles could not handle him. He soon became a problem to the adults. With no respect for authority, Nuggs rapped about the New World Order before people even knew what the New World Order was. People thought he was crazy. He talked about a plan the government had. A government conspiracy. The government was out to get him. He clearly was way ahead of his time, with thinking for himself and developing his own style in the music scene in Birmingham and the UK. Too bad his talent was wasted to the streets. Thank you for joining me today. For more stories from the real streets of crime, please don't forget to comment, like, share and subscribe.